think we can avoid a lot of heartache and time spent on something that really it takes away from the mission of the board. Let me just say that we do have one speaker, and I don't want her to think that I've forgotten her. So if we could just...
Can I comment?
Certainly. Dr. Tellis.
I think it's not only important how we go forward, but also important how we go backwards and relook at this. In my world, as a physician, if a hospital granted privileges to somebody to do a surgery that wasn't trained or didn't have the proper credentials, the hospital is just as liable as the physician if there was any mishap. You know, it's kind of amazing that there wasn't a certification process going on here that would check credentials. This is a standard procedure done in every hospital in the United States, and I would think it would be done in an institution like this. And despite the comments made today that there was a known fact that there was a falsification of credentials related to the methodology report, no one here has yet made the comment that the staff and board members knew of this falsification of credentials prior to the vote. And this is what I'll be addressing in my upcoming comments, and this is all I'm going to say right now. I think that I would have expected at this point that staff would have at least made that comment in the public record. I'll make that comment for them.
Okay. Thank you. Let me move on to our one speaker, and that's Betty Plowman. If you'd come forward, please, and give us your name and who you represent. And so everybody knows, not just this speaker, we do allow for 3 minutes for comment. The timer is there at the podium, and as well as I watch a timer up here. So welcome, and if you would proceed.
Thank you. My name is Betty Plowman. I am currently employed by the California Dump Truck Owners Association. Prior to that, I did drive and own my own dump truck business. I was an owner-operator, plus later on I had employee drivers. And I would like to make a note now that should I have a premature death any time before 78.8 months, it is most likely attributed to my former 2-pack-a-day smoking habit. I would like to address and thank all of you, and I am fully aware of the integrity that you bring. I know that we have different scopes from each of you, politicians, doctors, professors, business people. Each one, I think, has always had integrity, and I do want you to know that is not what I question. But however, I do feel that the misrepresentation by Hintran, despite what has been said this morning, has caused more feelings among the public on exactly how valuable his report was. Because if I can give an example, when I began attending the CARB meetings in April of 2006, the first figures I was given, according to premature death, and it's well documented in the programs, was the number of 2,000 deaths prematurely. This is April of 06. These were the figures we were given. Within the last 2 years, that figure has gone to 3,500. And in the letter sent by Chairwoman Nichols just last week to Roger Nello, who had wanted to have, something stopped on these rules, that figure is now to 4,500. Now, this comes at a time when, as someone questioned the fact that many of our trucks are idle, not idling, but they're not working anymore. And if anything, those figures should have probably decreased from the amount of diesel consumption and the fact that most of us are now unemployed. So I once again question figures that are being thrown out there that definitely scare the bejeebies out of the general public when they see a truck going by and think it's instantly going to kill them. So this is another thing. The figures have not remained consistent in the effects of what this PM 2.5 actually causes.
Okay.
I wish I had had time to go over the staff report. I realize it wasn't made public until today, but because of the Heinz-Tran issue, despite what's said, the integrity of this entire process is in question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Staff, would you like to just respond?
Yeah, we can comment on the
Okay.
Numbers.
Originally, the number, the 2000 number, was with older scientific data. Later, when it went up to 3,500, it was because we had an increased understanding of how dangerous actually the PM 2.5 was, and the risk factor went up from 6% to 10%. The more recent number was actually specifically for, I believe, trucks. I remember seeing that calculation coming across my desk. But the more important issue was that it was both primary diesel and the secondary PM that results from diesel exhaust, whereas the other numbers were just the primary diesel and didn't include the secondary. I also want to point out that there is uncertainty in their numbers, and we always present a range in addition to the central estimate. So it's a range, not only that central estimate, but it's broader than that, and it could be a little bit lower, it could be a little bit higher.
Okay. Maybe what I could do